Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe, SOC Level 1 Legacy Learning Path, Phishing Analysis Module, Phishing Emails in Action Room. Learn the different indicators of phishing attempts by examining actual phishing emails. So this sounds pretty exciting. Hopefully y'all are excited to learn something today. And more than likely, you'll be analyzing phishing emails at some point in your cybersecurity career, especially if you are working in a SOC environment or in the blue team in general. You could be wearing multiple hats on the blue team. But at some point, you'll probably come across phishing emails and need to analyze it. So we're going to take a look at this room and see what they have to offer here. But before we get into it, you know what to do if you want to help support the channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload to the channel. Without further delay, let's go ahead and dive into it. Task 1 Introduction. Now that we covered the basics concerning emails in Phishing Emails 1, let's dive right into actual phishing email samples. Each email sample showcased in this room will demonstrate different tactics used to make the phishing emails look legitimate. The more convincing the phishing email appears, the higher the chances the recipient will click on a malicious link, download and execute malicious files, or even send the prince of some country a wire transfer. Warning: the samples throughout this room contain information from actual spam and or phishing emails. Proceed with caution if you attempt to interact with any IP domain, attachment, etc. Got it. So make sure to be in your lab environment if you're going to be playing around with stuff like that. Task number 2, cancel your PayPal order. The email sample in this task will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email address, URL shortening services, HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand. Here are some quick observations about this email sample. Number 1, this is an unusual email recipient address. This is not the email address associated with the Yahoo account, as we can see there. Number 2, this mismatch should immediately stand out. The sender's details, service at paypal.com, don't match the sender's email address, gibberish at sultanbogor.com. Number 2 here. Number 3, the subject line hints that you made a purchase or a transaction of some sort. If you don't recall this account, then it will grab your attention. This social engineering tactic is to prompt you to interact with the email with haste. So they want you to make dumb decisions or make decisions quickly without thinking about it, right? Your receipt for PayPal or payment to amazing stuff, okay? And you'll probably come across this, I'm sure, in your cybersecurity career at some point in time. Emails like this, these invoice scam emails, whatever they want to call them. Now let's look at the contents of the email body. Email body text message image 1. Okay, and this looks like an actual invoice, right? But obviously it's not a real one. But you can see how they mimicked an actual real looking receipt or something like that to make it look more believable. And it says the second half of the same email body text message image 2 here, cancel orders. So they want you to click that button. If there's an actual URL or something behind there, it could go down to a C2 server, malicious site or something like that to download some nasty things onto your machine, or go to a phishing email to collect your credentials. The email body complements the sender information and subject line. The email was designed as a legitimate email from PayPal. There aren't any attachments associated with this email. The only interactive element in this email is the cancel the order button / link. Let's investigate that further by reviewing the raw HTML source of the email hyperlinks. We can see that right here, right? It's going to some weird looking URL. It's probably a shortener, as was stated earlier, right? I don't think I've seen this shortener before. The link uses URL shortening services. It is not a good idea to click on the link if you don't know where the link is taking you, right? Unless you're in a lab environment analyzing this particular URL. Luckily, there are online tools that we can use to let us know the destination of the shortened URL. So they have a URL unshortener. It's like Online Sandbox or something like that. URLScan is another popular tool out there that you can use to analyze URLs and whatnot. Screenshot of the distant page behind your short URL. Okay. Strange. The link redirects to google.com. Tools to expand shortened URLs will be discussed in the Phishing Emails 3 room. What phrase does the gibberish sender email start with? Okay, so let's take a look here. As we scroll back up, take a look at this screenshot here. We can see that the actual email address starts with this no reply, and then there's a bunch of junk after that. So let's try no reply as our answer here. All right, good to go there. Task number 3, track your package. This email sample will highlight the following techniques. Number 1, spoofed email address. Number 2, pixel tracking. Number 3, link manipulation. Here are some quick observations about the email sample. Number 1, the email is tailored to appear that it's sent from a mail distribution center of some sort, right there. The subject line adds to the pretense with a tracking number. Okay, we see the tracking number right there. Number 3, the link in the email body matches the subject line. There we go. Note in this example or in this sample, Yahoo blocked the images from automatically downloading or loading. Any guesses as to why? Typically, one can hover the cursor over a link to see where the link is pointing to, but in the sample, that technique won't work because Yahoo disabled links in the email. We can look at the raw source code for the email and find out email hyperlinks. All right, so they're looking at the code of the email, right? The HTML, and you can see the links right there that it's referencing. Here we see an image file and it's explicitly called tracking.png. These trackers send information back to the spammer server. Probably something like email opened, deleted, or something like that, maybe. There are many reasons for spammers to embed tracking pixels, very small images, into their spam emails. To read more about this concept, refer to this post on The Verge here, so check that out. Now we can understand why Yahoo automatically blocked the images in the email. Many email providers do the same. Back to the hyperlink, the link is pointing to a shady looking domain. The only distribution center this domain can be associated with is malware, but further analysis is the only way to confirm that definitely. So let's just take a quick peek at this article here that they're referencing. How to stop your emails from being tracked. Pixel trackers can hide in your email images, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Well, you need a subscription. Okay. Anyway, let's flip back over here. Question time. What is the root domain for each URL? Define the URL. Okay, so the root domain for these is going to be this devret.xyz. So let's type that in. Devret. Sure I spelled that correctly. Yes. Then we have to defang it like so. If I can type correctly. XYZ. All right, so we're done with that. You can also use CyberChef or any tool to defang URLs and whatnot, but I mean, this URL is short enough, we can just type it in and defang it ourselves. Task number 4, select your email provider to view the document. This email sample will highlight the following techniques: urgency, HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, link manipulation, credential harvesting, poor grammar and or typos. Let's take a closer look. So they have the date up here, expires here. So it's creating like a sense of urgency probably. And then you got like a link here to download a document apparently. So let's see what they're saying. Here are some quick observations about this email sample. Number 1, the email was sent on Thursday, July 5th, 2021. Okay, we saw that. A sense of urgency is introduced in this email. Notice that the link to download the fax document expires on the same day. Okay, we saw that. And there is an action to perform, in this case, a button to download the fax. Okay, so it looks like we're on the right track here. And looking at this next one here, it looks like it redirects to this website here and goes to another download, which this is typical. I've seen this quite a bit in my career analyzing phishing emails or suspicious emails. They used to go to these sites like this, like a Dropbox or something, box.com or whatever, or maybe even they're abusing like legitimate other services like Adobe or something like that. It'll take you to like, hey, sign this PDF document, and you click that link and it downloads some nasty stuff on your machine. The above image shows the victim is redirected to a page created to pass as OneDrive. Notice that the URL is not anything Microsoft related. There are 2 more links for the victim to interact with. The victim has to click either button to obtain the fax document that is set to expire. All right, and I've seen something like this before in the past. I'll use this. It's been a while since I've seen one of these that look like this. The victim is directed to yet another site. This one was crafted to resemble Adobe. Again, notice the URL. It doesn't look like it's related to Adobe. Also notice the page title in the tab. It's called SharePoint Online, which is a Microsoft product. There are a couple of grammatical errors as well. The victim has options to sign and with the email provider of their choice. So we can see all these grammatical errors and whatnot, right? Okay. And also, whenever they sign in here, this is probably going to capture their credentials in the back end and send that off to the attacker controlled server. All right. So credential harvesting there. A victim chose to log in with Outlook because, per instructions to read the document, please enter the valid email credentials that the file was sent to. The email was viewed in Outlook. And sometimes, whenever they do this, the victim enters their credentials, it'll redirect them to the actual legitimate website, right? And then it'll look like, oh, maybe something happened, like there was a glitch, I didn't actually log in or whatever. And then sometimes these sites, these phishing sites will harvest like session cookies or session tokens and whatnot, so they can sign in that way and try to bypass MFA, things of that nature. But let's take a look at this one here. Invalid credentials, right? Okay, that's odd that it's spelled that way or looks like that, right? We're looking format. In this sample, we could tell that the fake credentials were entered, but even if the victim would have entered valid credentials, the error message would have been the same. Yep. This scenario happens because the victim is not really authenticating to an email provider. Instead, the credentials that were entered now reside on the criminal server. As I stated earlier, the criminal's objective to harvest credentials has been met. Lastly, notice more grammatical errors. All this work they put into this, you would think they would run a spell check. Well, yes, they could do that, but I mean, a lot of times these are like easy to spin up these phishing sites and whatnot. So, that's why you'll see a lot of like reuse sometimes whenever these fake phishing pages get spin up, because nowadays it's very easy to spin up phishing infrastructure and then redirect victims to your phishing infrastructure and whatnot. Let's see here. Analysis, AnyRun. If you want to check this out real quick, I guess, take a look at it. This is another online sandbox, by the way, AnyRun. And then it'll give you details as well as it runs it through this analysis. And you'll see all kinds of good information. We're just going to take a quick look here, right? You got all kinds of events down here, what transpired. You got other stuff up here, processes and whatnot, IOC stuff, it looks like. All kinds of good information from these sandboxes. Okay, let's continue on. Question time. This email sample used the names of a few major companies, their products, and logos, such as OneDrive and Adobe. What other company name was used in the phishing email? All right, so let's take a look here. What other one was used here? And Citrix. So let's see if that's what they're looking for here. Yep, Citrix. As we saw here in that first screenshot, or the one near the top here, you can see Citrix attachments, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on to task number 5. Please update your payment details. And this email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email address, urgency, HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, poor grammar and/or typos, attachments. Here are some quick observations about the email sample. Number 1, this email is made to appear that it's from Netflix billing, but the sender address is z99 at whatever that is .online, and we can see that here. Number 2, here is the element of urgency. The account was suspended, so the victim must act quickly. Okay, right there says suspended. Number 3, there is more of this sense of urgency in the email body. As we can see there, your account is on hold. So it's saying your account is basically frozen unless you pay your bill, and you need to click this link and follow these instructions in this email so we can hack you. Also, notice the different misspellings of the word Netflix. Not sure what was the purpose of that. Typically, you'll see this technique when it comes to typo squatting, but that wasn't the case here. So we can see that here in this screenshot here. Okay, good to know there. Okay, here is the meat and potatoes of this email. Apparently, the victim needs to open the PDF to update their Netflix account. Please update your payment details. Hello, customer. We're having some trouble with your current billing information. Please open the file, which is the PDF, to update your account. Need help? We're here if you need it. Visit the help center or contact us now. Your friends at Netflix. Sounds legitimate, right? There's attachment right there. We saw at the bottom. Notice the phone number for Netflix. At first glance, that is an unusual phone number to send to a US-based victim. Okay, good to go there. The attachment contains an embedded link titled Update Payment Account. We'll look at this email attachment in closer detail in the upcoming Phishing Emails 3 room. That is interesting there. And that's the phone number they're talking about here. Call this weird looking phone number. Okay. Question time. What should users do if they receive a suspicious email or text message claiming to be from Netflix. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos. You can see here over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking. Enjoy the video. All right, for this one, you have to go to this hint here and it'll give you a link to where you need to find this information. So it takes you to another article here about this police warn of new Netflix email phishing scam. So once you read through this, you'll come to the bottom here and you'll see that they are advised to forward the message to phishing@netflix.com. So that's going to be our answer there. All right. In the corporate environment, once the users report the suspicious email to you and you determine that it's malicious, whatever, you'll go into your blocking and whatnot. But in the corporate environment, if they get some kind of suspicious email, malicious email, whatever, they're going to send that to this cybersecurity team to investigate, right? They're going to send that to a dedicated spam mailbox or malicious email mailbox so that can be analyzed. Task number 6, your recent purchase. This email sample will highlight the following techniques. Spoofed email address, recipient is BCC'd, which is blind carbon copied, urgency, poor grammar and or typos, attachments. Here are some quick observations about this email sample. Number 1, this email is made to appear that it's from Apple support, but the sender's email address is gibberish at somepremed.com, and we can see that here. Number 2, the email wasn't sent directly to the victim's inbox, but rather BCC, blind carbon copy. The recipient email looks like another spoofed email to appear as a legitimate Apple email address. That's common. One technique that these threat actors will use and scammers will use. 3, here's the full element of urgency action is required on behalf of the victim. All right, we can see the BCC there, and then you can see the rest here, right? There are a few noticeable typos in both the sender and recipient email addresses. Do no reply and payment. All right, yeah, it's definitely jacked up there. This particular email doesn't necessarily have an email body. It's totally blank. The email simply contains an attachment right here. Looks like a Word document. This file extension you may not be familiar to you. A dot file is page layout template file associated with Microsoft Word. All right, you can see the link here inside of there. Okay, so that's good to know there. The above image shows what is contained within the attachment. You can see the file contains a large image to resemble an App Store receipt. Notice the link contains certain keywords related to Apple apps and iOS. So if you want to look through this, and you can see all those indicators inside of here. But right off the bat, I mean, if they're not expecting some receipt from whatever is getting sent to them right off the bat, that's going to be raising some red flags. Okay. But users have to slow down when looking at emails. They speed through these, they're more than likely, or they're at higher risk of getting, getting owned. Anyway, what does BCC mean? We already know that's going to be blind carbon copy. Okay. Next one, if I can spell carbon correctly, that'll be helpful. What technique was used to persuade the victim to not ignore the email explicitly? That was the urgency, right? Sense of urgency. Number 7, or task number 7, DHL Express Courier Shipping Notice. The email sample will highlight the following techniques: spoofed email address, HTML to impersonate a legitimate brand, attachments. Here are some quick observations about this sample. Number 1, the sender's email doesn't match the company that is being impersonated, which in this case is DHL. We can see that here. It's going to this glamcarcompany.de. Right, it's coming from there. They're pretending to be DHL Express. Number 2, the subject line contains or gives the impression that there is a package DLL will ship for you, which is right here, tracking codes or whatever. Number 3, the HTML in the email body was designed to look like it was sent from DHL. And we can see that here with this little fancy graphic or whatever. It looks, try to make it look more legitimate and whatnot. Okay. Thank you for scheduling a carrier shipment with DHL. Looking at the source code of the email, the link to view the email as a web page doesn't contain an actual destination URL. So we can see that here. The only element the victim can interact with in this email is the email attachment, which in this case is an Excel document down here. Okay. The image below shows what is contained within the attachment. And sometimes whenever you open up these Excel documents, it'll say like enable macros or something like that, right? Which is commonly abused by attackers. Still have some malicious macros embedded into these documents or files or Excel files or what have you. And then once you click that enable macros, it'll go and fire off some stuff in the background, do some nasty things. So you got to watch out for that. The attachment runs a payload that throws an error, right, as I was explaining before, and says we'll look at this attachment in closer detail in the upcoming phishing emails 3 room. Sweet. What is the name of the executable that the Excel attachment attempts to run? So we can probably see that here. And it looks like it says regasms.exe. All right, there we go. So we can see it in both. We can see it here inside this little box here at the end. You can see it also in this error right there. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's wrap up this video with task number 8, conclusion. In this room, we looked at various phishing samples. Some of the samples shared similar techniques, whereas others introduced a new tactic for you to see and learn from. Understanding how to detect phishing emails takes awareness training. Visit the resources below to acquaint yourself with other signs to look out for in phishing emails. Additional resources. So you got know before stuff here. You got another, looks like a blog post or news article here. Another one here looks like, and then something else here. Phishing quiz with google.com. Sweet. So next one we're going to take a look at is going to be this phishing emails 3 room. And that wraps up this video. Click complete. We are done. If you enjoyed the video, found it of value, you want to help support the channel, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video to the channel. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.